So I've recently been made aware of a tactic on FM24 that can apparently win games, but with only one defender at the back. Surely this can't work, right? To test it, I'm going to challenge myself to try and win the Premier League using this tactic that has just one defender. Come on. All right, so if we were ever going to choose a team to test a tactic that has one defender in it, that doesn't care about defending at all, that team was always going to be Spurs. So we're going to go with them for today's video. We are going to be using this absolute monstrosity of a tactic in FM24. Now, this came about because my Discord like to play matches against each other. They like to do drafts against one another. Somebody somewhere came up with the idea of a rule where they could only use one defender at a time. But sometimes from madness such as that, inspiration can arise, and somebody was able to win using this, a tactic that quite simply has only one defender at the back. Now, it does have wing backs in front of that and also some half backs too. So these guys do make up and become defenders in the system. But on paper, as they line up, there is quite literally just one central defender at the very back with his keeper behind him. Then there's four across the attacking midfield plane, and then there's one striker up front. It's called the 1-4-4-1, one back. And I think it's very much in the image of Ange Postecoglou, which is why we're going to be using Spurs for today's video. I'm challenging myself to take them from this real life point here of being 17th in the Premier League and trying to turn it around in just one season to see if we can win the league using this one at the back tactic. We will, of course, have a summer transfer window to try and buy the players necessary to turn this into a functioning tactic. And then we're going to go for it. Can we win the league in one season where I'm reliably informed that this attacking formation here, that this actually works? So let's go and test it. First, transfers. Before we do transfers, a quick one from me. Please subscribe to the channel. We recently hit 105,000 subscribers. That's wild. Thank you very much. Some more would be lovely. That's sort of it. Subscribe. Thanks. All right, welcome back to August. Welcome back to the beginning of the Premier League season then, where I've, of course, been busy doing some tactics. Now, actually, if pre-season is anything to go by, this might just work. The only loss in pre-season was to Real Madrid, but we actually did score 2 goals as well. We've beaten Feyenoord 6-1. We beat Lech Poznan 7-1. We beat Magdeburg 2-0. Very impressive that. St. Pauli 4-1. So this was all using this one defender system, and it has been winning games. And I think that's been helped by the fact that we've signed players to play in the specific roles that we're going to go with. The squad now looks like this. We are going to go. Let's go from the top here, and then I'll show you some of the transfer business that I've managed to do. I'm not going to say I've taken this too seriously because, we're doing a save where we're using one defender. But I've had a bit of fun with it. We're going to go with, let's start at the top, Dominic Solanke to lead our line. He's going to be our advanced forward who's also set to tackle harder and move into the channels. His rotation option, by the way, is Lorenzo Luca. Lorenzo Luca is a Football Manager legend. Already, I think he might go down as a bit of an FM cult hero, to be honest. He's 6'7", so obviously I know all about Lorenzo Luca. He will be rotating, but the first choice will probably be Solanke. Then in this front 5, if we call it that, we've got an advanced playmaker on the left-hand side and a wide target forward on the right-hand side. Kulusevski's going to be our wide target forward. He actually kind of fits it. He is 6'1". He's got plenty of height and he can kind of play wide. So it's a weird role to have in a tactic, I think. But I think we do have a good player to go and play that role in Kulusevski. His instructions, as you can see here, cut inside with ball, tackle harder, then hold up the ball, which is something that famous 4-2-2 Indonesian World Cup winning tactic has in there. This hold up ball instruction from the wide areas is really effective in FM24. So we're going to utilize that here with Kulusevski. Jonathan David is going to go and play on the other side as our left-sided advanced playmaker. The roles, to me at least, don't make all that much sense. However, again, I've been provided with this and apparently it does work. So let's trust the process a little bit. We're going to have James Maddison as a shadow striker with Angel Gomez as a new signing to play as an attacking midfielder. I'll show you the instructions on these just in case you want to copy it. By the way, you're welcome to go and do a screenshot, copy all of the roles, copy all of the instructions from the screen as you can see here. Or if you want to go to my Patreon, the tactic will be on there because I know that lots of you will see this and think, that's a bit of me. I want to try that in my saves. It'll be on the Patreon. So there you go. Other attacking midfielder options, we've got Tyler Dibbling now in. We've got Brennan Johnson still here. Ruben Loftus-Cheek can come and play as one of these number 10s or maybe a bit deeper as well, to be honest. And then, of course, we've got other players like Odebear and Mikey Moore as other options in the squad here. Again, I'll go and show you all of the transfers in a second, but let's keep going through this team, showing you some of these instructions just in case I didn't click on a couple of these. Then we've got this line of 4 in front of our singular defender. We're going to have 2 wing backs set to defend, hopefully meaning that they actually do get back in and do some defending, because otherwise Mickey van der Ven might have his work cut out just a little bit. We're going to go with Udogie and Porro. Nothing major with those two. Those are the Spurs wing backs, full backs at the moment, aren't they? So they're going to be playing there. There's the instructions on those two. And then we're going to go with 2 half-backs. The most defensive role that we could go for our defensive midfielders, hopefully meaning that they literally drop in and become almost centre-backs. If you go to the half-back role and have a look at how it's described, it says looks to serve a role somewhere between that of an aggressive sweeper and a defensive midfielder. The halfback drops deeper than a standard DM in possession and looks to offer an outlet for quickly recycling possession and to offer protection against the counter attack. So it's the most centre back role of our defensive midfielders, and hopefully they become almost like a back 3 almost, and then with these wing backs as well set to defend, it can, I'm hoping when we watch it in game, become a bit of a back 5. And we will watch some highlights and things today to try and see what this looks like in a match setting. We're going to go with Geertruida as a new signing, and then Yves Bissouma as the other halfback. Of course, we then do have Archie Gray could come in and play there. We've got Pape Mate Sarr could come in and play there. We've got Archie Gray that could play in one of those roles, and we've also got Sarr who could come and play in those roles as well as maybe Lucas Bergvall, etc, etc. There's options. You can see the bench here. You know who plays where, and you can kind of see who the rotation options are. Leif Davis is a new signing to play left wing back. Right wing back, we're probably going to be relying on Jed Spence. And then at centre back in rotation with Mickey van der Ven, we've got Kevin Danso, we've got Dragoshin, we've got a new signing in Harwood Bellis as well. Now, we're going to go with Mickey van der Ven, mainly because he's rapid. He's got 19 pace, 16 acceleration, and he's tall. He's kind of got it all when it comes to a defender, hasn't he? And he's going to need it because he's out there on his own. He's going to have to do it all on his own. His instructions are as follows: to dribble more, shoot less often, tackle harder, then also take more risks, as if this tactic needed somebody to take more risks, as well as holding position, which might be important as he is the only central defender in there. We're going to go with Vicario in goal. He's set to a sweeper keeper on defend. Hopefully that does mean he does come off his line and help to sweep up, etc. When the opposition obviously plays those balls over the top of our very high line, our very high defense here. I'll show you the instructions as well. We're going to go attacking because it's handball, and why not lean into what our strengths are going to be? Defending isn't going to be a strength of this side, is it, with this tactic? So we're going to go attacking. In possession, we're going to have the following instructions: short passing, pass into space, low crosses, run at defence, focus play down the left and the right, overlap on the left and the right, higher tempo, and playing pretty narrow. In transition, we're going to roll it out, distribute quickly, counter and counter press, pretty standard stuff, to be honest, in possession. And then out of possession, obviously, we're going to go with a very, very high line, a much higher defensive line with a pretty high line of engagement as well, a really high press to go alongside it. Get stuck in, trigger the press much more often, as well as stepping up more and inviting crosses rather than trying to stop them. That is the tactic. This is the squad. Let me just show you the transfer business, because there was a lot of outs as well as quite a lot of ins. We've sold players for £249 million. Saudi did help us out quite a lot, actually, by signing Heung-min Son for £57 million and Rodrigo Bentancur for £54 million. I mean, they're both good players. They probably both could play a role in this squad, but they gave us enough money to go and sign the players that I thought would fit in best in this side. Players like Geertruida, we spent a lot of money on him, £55 million, but he's a really good ball-playing halfback that is a defender, that is a centre-back that can play as a defensive midfielder and can sort of play in all of the defensive roles. Look, so having him in the side, I think when you see that positional play in the match engine, a player like him is going to be so vital for that. So that's why we spent quite big money on it. That's why we've sold players like Bentancur and Heung-min Son. We also did get £82 million for Christian Romero. Now, Romero is a fantastic defender, and he's not slow, 14 pace, 14 acceleration. But as I mentioned before, I did want a really quick defender to try and do a bit of everything, whereas Romero isn't that type of defender, and he's also so aggressive that I could see him getting caught out in our system, getting sent off, and I mean, that could just be an absolute bloodbath. Can you imagine it? So we've let him go for £82 million. You've seen the signings there. I've gone through the players: Angel Gomez, Jonathan David, Harwood Bellis, Dibbling, Loftus-Cheek, Geertruida, Luca and Leif Davis coming in, and then other big sales: Richarlison's gone, Manor Solomon, Ben Davis has gone, as well as all of these guys down here. That is the business. That is the tactic. We are predicted to finish in 7th. You wouldn't have predicted Spurs to finish 17th before the season kicked off, last season, or this current season, as we're just finishing off in real life. So to being predicted 7th is probably about right. Where would you actually predict Spurs to finish next season, by the way, based off this season? Maybe it depends who the manager is. Spurs fans, do you think Ange will still be there next year? Or does it literally come down to that Europa League final for next year? Anyway, we're 33-1. I'm hoping that we're going to see some results here. What I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go and play up until about the halfway point, up until January, and tell you how the first half of this season has gone, show you some of those highlights of games, show you how the team is playing, how the defence functions with just that singular one defender in there. And then we'll have a think about transfers in the January window as well. So let's get playing some games. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. All right. So as we approach January, the 31st of December, 2024, they weren't lying. My Discord have managed to create this that really does work. We're second in the league after 19 games. At the halfway point, we are indeed in a title challenge with a system that only has one defender. This is wild. If I show you some of the results on here, we're just off the back of beating Brentford 7-0 with this system. You can see it was this system. Geertruida actually played as a centre-back in this one. Danso played in defensive midfield. And you see the players are rotating through the roles. But one defender in there and a 7-0 win. This is a tactic that genuinely does work then, I suppose. Because Spurs aren't supposed to be this close to the title, even based off the season preview. We've beaten Liverpool here, we've beaten Chelsea before. Let me show you what this actually looks like in action. Because if you go back through here, let's choose a game. Let's go with maybe that Liverpool game where we've just beaten them. We did actually lose that game there. We've beaten Liverpool 2-1 here. Let's have a look at these highlights from this game where Liverpool do score a goal. So we'll be able to see what our defence looks like for that goal as well as our attacking play here with Pedro Porro down the right-hand side. It's just a ball into the middle and Jonathan David is there. In fact, if we just rewind that slightly there, if we go full Jamie Carragher on this, one thing that I suppose you do get from this is that we've got our right back or our right wing back down the right-hand side. At that point, look, I don't know if this came from a set piece or not, but we've got 5 players all queuing up to get on the end of this cross, which I suppose comes from having 5 attacking players, none of which are our wing backs. Pedro Porro down the right-hand side by Pape Sarr, who's probably playing as a defensive midfielder here in this game. But 5 players in there, and they just sort of can queue up to get on the end of it. Jonathan David heads it in. It sort of makes sense. It actually took until the 75th minute to do that. Then in the 88th minute, Maddison down the left-hand side. Again, let me just pause it there. We've got 4 players in the box with another one about to join. I guess this system just overwhelms the opposition because even if I play it on a little bit, now we've got 5 players in the box as Jonathan David picks it up and just curls it into the top corner. It's a great finish as well. And another thing, as he picks this ball up on the edge of the box here, look, he's got so much time to do this because Liverpool have got 6 players back here, but they are so preoccupied by these other 4 attackers that we've got Curtis Jones closing down Jonathan David, and that's about it, look. And he's got loads of time to just curl that into the top corner, hasn't he? Now, let's have a look at this Liverpool goal, which comes late on. I'm hoping it's not going to be a set piece. It's not. I wanted to see what this looked like at the start of the attack, and I feel like that kind of gives us the answer. We have got our singular central defender here, which is Geertruida for this game. We've got Basuma, one of our DMs here, and then is this Sarr just dropping back in? So those are the defensive midfielders. And is this Porro? That's Pedro Porro. So you can see where they're going to fill in a little bit, but you can actually see as soon as the ball goes behind, well, this attacking 4 here, and then the line of defense that is the defensive midfield line, I think they're going to have a load of runners, sort of very much overwhelming. They kind of get in a bit, but then there's Darwin Nunez into the box, and yeah, they fill in quite nicely, but Harvey Elliott is there at the back post. You saw the moment on the transition, I think, which is where goals are going to be conceded, but they actually only conceded 4 shots in total in that game, 3 on target, and had 17 of their own. It does just work, doesn't it? Van der Ven, look, was the starting defender in that game. Geertruida must have gone there at the end because Van der Ven went off in the 76th minute. It actually works. Let's go and have a look at another game because I find that so intriguing. Here's a good game to look at because we scored 4 but did concede 2 against Chelsea. That might show us kind of what it looks like in game a little bit more. Right, here we go then. There's the starting lineup, or there's the lineup anyway. Geertruida again at the back. In fact, I'm going to pause it there again. There's a ball over the top. There's sort of how they line up, look. When Chelsea play a long ball forward, we've got our one defender here, Geertruida. Their 2 attackers, Nkunku and João Felix. Then we've got Udogie on the left-hand side and Porro on the right. So the wing-backs are the wing backs set to defend are a lot deeper than our defensive midfielders here in Loftus-Cheek and Pape Sarr. So Loftus-Cheek must be playing as a DM here. But straight away, even look, you can quite easily see how Chelsea could cause an overload just from a long ball forward. Let's see what actually transpires with this one. In fact, it's us that picks up the ball to get the first goal here. Look, I mean, the flip side of that is you can see where Chelsea could overload us. But then as soon as we get it forward, you've got Sarr here. You've got Kulusevski here, obviously coming in from the wing maybe, because is that Tyler Dibbling? Maybe it's not. Kulusevski must be playing central here because there's Tyler Dibbling. We've got Dibbling, Solanke, Maddison, and then whoever that is at the top there. Can we click it here? It's Angel Gomez, look. And when I talked about them overwhelming us, now, suddenly, they've got, what, 6 players back? If we count these 6, we're not going to count Sterling a bit. I mean, do you know what? Let's go 5. These 5 here have 5 players to contend with straight away. It's that overwhelming effect, isn't it? Solanke finishes it pretty well, but quite easily, to be honest. It's just a couple of passes forward and we score a goal. That was in 4 minutes as well. Here come Chelsea. I mean, that's a great still, isn't it? That is a great still there. You've got Geertruida panicking on a yellow card, sprinting backwards with Chelsea coming forward. The wing-backs trying to chase back. Both defensive midfielders trying to chase back against Enzo Fernandez here, look. But ultimately, you're probably going to find a few runners. Caicedo runs through the middle. There's 1-1. That does really show it going the other way, doesn't it? This is so intriguing. I love this type of stuff. Let me know if you like this type of video, by the way. I know that it's not, I don't do loads of tactic stuff unless it's fun, basically, because I think it can be a bit dry sometimes. But this is really fun to see weird stuff happening in the match engine. There's Solanke's goal to make it 2-1. That was it just into the second half. They actually made it 2-2 then, Chelsea. Here's Nkunku into João Felix. And then, yeah, there's 4 players. I mean, we've got players back. It's just not great. And they don't behave like normal central defenders because they're not central defenders, are they? Enzo Fernandez, and then I guess just the firepower of having so many attacking players means that they go and win this game 4-2 with 10 or so minutes to go. They make it 3-2. Look, Kulusevski down the right-hand side. Across, Maddison's in there. That's 3-2. And then final goal of the game is a horrible bit of keeping. And Jed Spence, Van der Ven, very well forward. Look, he's on his way back now. And then in by Kulusevski. Good stuff to see. That takes us up to Jan. And what I'm going to go and do now is maybe go and spend a bit more money to try and make this team even better so that we could hopefully overtake Liverpool at the very top. We've lost 5 games of our 19, won 12. Liverpool have only lost 2. They did lose to us, look. We saw that game, didn't we? So I think we're in with a chance of doing this season. But maybe a little bit more consistency needed because there are 5 losses in there. A lot of in fact, they're all away from home. That really does tell a story, actually. Maybe having 1 defender means you are quite susceptible to a loss away from home. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. I'm going to go do some transfers and then I'm going to finish off the season and I'll see you at the end in May. And here we are at the end of our season where we've only gone and blooming done it. We've won the league. It can work. This 1 defender tactic genuinely can win you the Premier League. We've won 26 of our 38 games. It's not the biggest points total. It's 83 points is enough to win it, with Liverpool in second on 77. They fell off and lost 5 games in the end. They did lose to us a game, by the way, 2-0 at Anfield. And that was pretty much, it wasn't even that recent. It was back in April, look. And then after that, we've just gone and finished it off. We got to the FA Cup semi-final. You see the results on the screen here, look. This tactic with 1 defender at the back genuinely can work in FM24. I don't know if that makes a mockery of the game completely or not at this stage, or maybe it's just that some of these instructions are just really, really OP, but you can actually win with just 1 defender. Look at the goal scoring as well, by the way. Kulusevski, 12 goals, 22 assists, mainly playing as a wide target forward. Angel Gomez got 15 assists as well. James Maddison, shadow striker, 19 goals. Jonathan David playing as an advanced playmaker on the left. 24 goals from him. And Dominic Solanke is our main striker, 29 in 37 from him. Even Mickey van der Ven getting himself 8 goals because he was up for set pieces. Most of those were headers, to be honest. That's the stats of all the players in there. That is the system. It works. You can go and download this from my Patreon if you want to. Or maybe I should challenge you guys right now. Create the wackiest, weirdest tactic that actually works, and maybe we'll do a video on it. You'll have to join the Discord and share it with me, and then maybe it can feature on the channel. Why not, right? We'll leave it there for today, though. Please subscribe to the channel. Have a lovely rest of your day, and if you're not busy right now, maybe watch the video that pops up at the end of this one, because I'm sure it'll be an absolute banger. See you next time. Bye-bye.